Hey, welcome to my channel. If you follow me on Instagram, you may have seen my recent video of me falling over. And the reason that I say this is because I've just realized that it has had over 80,000 views. 80,000 views of a video of me falling over. But anyway, if you haven't seen it yet, then brace yourself because here it is. Yeah, it's pretty bad. And so I decided to make a video all about falling. Now, disclaimer, I am not a professional skater, and so these tips are not coming from me, they are coming from the people who I have learned from, and their videos will be linked in the description below. And I've just put all the tips together that I have learned so far from my mistakes and from binge watching YouTubers who are professional and taking their tips on what to do when you're falling. So this video will mainly be for people who are just learning to skate, or people who are doing the 365 days of skating on Instagram like I am. And if you haven't seen my Instagram yet, it's Lucianne Skates, linked below. But yes, so people who are just learning to skate, they've just bought a pair of skates and they're just like, what do I do? That is who this video is intended for. So basically myself. This video is intended for myself when I first started, as I had no clue. So first of all, let's break down this fall that I had. This fall, I would say, is probably my worst fall so far. I have had another fall that was really bad where I rolled, nearly ended in a ditch. It was okay. This fall was just so bad because I was standing still. I didn't have a clue it was going to happen. It was just a complete mistake from my behalf. As I begin to fall, panic inside me tells me, put your hands down. Now, first things first, I have my wrist guards on. Wrist guards are the best things ever, in my opinion. Again, some people don't like wearing wrist guards, but I think wrist guards are the best piece of safety gear. You have fragile wrists, it's easy to hurt them, it's easy to fall over and grab yourself without thinking. So yeah, my first tip would definitely be get some wrist guards. So in this fall, I put my hands down and caught myself. Didn't touch my tailbone at all, luckily. My back was completely fine. I didn't have one mark on me at all. Literally, this fall looks awful, but I was actually fine. The first thing though that I did wrong in this video is trying to catch myself like that. Even with wrist guards on, your wrists are so fragile, and falling from my height, I'm 5'7", falling from my height, doing that, if I hadn't had my wrist guards on, oh, I don't even like the thought of what could have gone wrong. I've had so many comments on this video of me falling of people saying, you're so lucky you was wearing wrist guards. I did this and I done this to my wrist, I done this to my wrist, I landed on my tailbone, I got really bad injuries. Read all these comments and I was just like, wow, like so many people are in the same situation where we don't know how to fall properly and we injure ourselves. So first things first, wear wrist guards if you worry about hurting your wrists. I didn't used to wear them in the very beginning as well. My first few videos, I didn't have them on, and then someone commented, you should wear wrist guards. And I'd never really thought about actually wearing them because I didn't understand why I needed them. But now, that shocks me. So far in my first 2 months of skating, I've only had a couple of bruises from falling and splinters in my hand from this fall, where I stupidly tried to grab a wooden fence, as you do. This fall was horrible. I had splinters all in my hand. So another tip would be never ever grab wooden fences, please. It was horrible. But so far I've been lucky to not have a bad injury, because I know so many people have bad injuries and they sound horrific and painful, and I'm just so lucky that so far I've been okay. But let's talk safety gear. One thing with safety gear is I've noticed a lot of people stop wearing their helmets and their knee pads because I know it's bad, but it does kind of kill the aesthetic of the video a little bit, doesn't it? Which of course we shouldn't think like that. This is protecting our bodies, but we do. People say about if you want to put your hair up, you want to have like your hair looking nice, you don't want to put a helmet on. If your outfit kind of fits well, you don't want to then ruin it with knee pads. One thing I would say is until you are comfortable without your safety gear, please wear safety gear. So one of those videos I was talking about was from Indie Jammer Jones, and she posted a video on YouTube, and I will link that below, and that is of how you do something called dropping the knee, which is when, if you're going to fall, you just land on one knee. So your knee has knee pads on. Don't do this if you don't have knee pads on. But if you're a beginner and you're wearing knee pads all the time and you're kind of just like, I'm just gonna wear my knee pads. I wear my knee pads, you know, if I'm doing a skate like this, where I'm out just proper fast skating and trying to go for it and trying to learn new things, trying to turn my body around quickly, I'll always wear knee pads and a helmet if I feel like I need to, if I feel like I'm having a bit of a wobbly day. As much as we would love to always just fall onto our knee pads, as that is obviously going to protect us, we do have to accept the fact that we could fall backwards at one point, because as I've shown, it can happen even when you least expect it. So some things to note if you do fall backwards is try not to catch yourself like I did. The L shape with your hands, this is something that Nicole Fiore says in her video, which is also linked below. If you do the L shape with your hands, you can really damage your wrists. And it's such an obvious thing, isn't it? Your wrists are fragile, and if you are smacking them down like this, you could really damage them. So obviously wrist guards, essential. It can take some of the pressure out. Clearly it did that with me. I'm so lucky with that. But also another thing that a lot of professionals say is this is so hard to do, but try and fall onto a soft part of your body. So for an example, your tailbone is very fragile, very, if you hit it, it's gonna hurt a lot. You really don't wanna land on your tailbone. You wanna do everything you can to prevent landing on your tailbone, as trust me, the comments, what people have been saying about how awful it is, I've not experienced it myself, but it sounds horrific. So try not to land on your tailbone. Obviously, that's just a given, but in the moment, if you're falling, what do? You just fall. So some things that you can try and do is land slightly to one side. So people call this pick a cheek. So if you're falling backwards and you know you're about to land on your bum, rather than just going smack down onto your bum where you can hit your tailbone, you want to kind of twist your body one way, twist your body the other way to just slightly land in between your bum and thigh, basically. So there's like the cushioned area between your bum and your thigh. That is where you want to land, because it's going to just catch you better than if you land straight on your bum and possibly hurt your tailbone. If you fall too far back, you could hit your head. Scary. Bear that in mind. Pick a cheek. It's obviously more important to try and fall forward, but as I've said, it's not always possible to push yourself forward. But if when you're skating you try and distribute your weight so that you're more forward rather than leaning backwards, that can obviously stop you from falling. People are always saying bend your knees when you're skating, bend your knees, make sure that your knees are bent. And another tip, this is something I always do. If I feel like I'm going to fall, I get low. I'll be skating along, and if I kind of feel a wobble like I'm going to fall, I just get low, try and get into a cannonball kind of position like this. So just get low into a type of cannonball. If you can't get down to a cannonball, then just bend your knees and kind of put your arms down so that if you do fall, your hands are close to the floor, you can catch yourself without hurting your wrist. If you've got knee pads on, you can just fall forward onto your knee pads and it's not coming from a high height, so it's not going to hurt as much. And if you do fall back, you're close to the floor anyway, so you're just going to hopefully softly land rather than smacking all the way down from 5'7". Another tip for beginners is to practice on grass before you practice just skating on the road. Go onto grass, put on your knee pads, your helmet, your wrist guards, put your skates on, and just practice the motion of how it feels to kind of get down low and then fall forward onto your knees, and then falling onto the side from low. Don't do it from high up, because obviously you could still hurt yourself, but you want to get down low and just kind of fall to the side rather than falling onto your back. Fall to the side, fall to the cushioned area on the side, fall forward onto your knees, onto your knee pads. All of these things so that you are used to it, because if you think about it, if you can't fall safely on grass where it's soft and cushioned, then you're not going to know how to fall safely on concrete, and you could really hurt yourself. So practice falling. People say that you can build a muscle memory so that when you fall, you will fall in that way automatically. So if you teach yourself to fall in a certain way, you will get a muscle memory, and then when you are skating fast, you will automatically do the fall that you've taught yourself, if that makes sense. So for an example, if you go out there, you get on some grass, you put all your safety gear on, you get down low, and you practice falling onto your knee pads, and then practice if you're falling backwards, get down low, gently fall backwards and tilt to the side so that you land on the cushioned area in between the hip and the bum, or thigh and bum, I should say, in between your thigh and your bum, if you keep practicing just falling onto that cushioned area and you do it, apparently, and it's professionals who have said this, I can link their videos below. So this is so clever, and this is something that I need to do. So I'm going to do this today, literally, as I desperately need to learn how to fall safely, because obviously, as I showed you in that video, I catch myself with my hands. Dangerous. Obviously on concrete, and you're falling back and you have no idea it's about to happen, you're just like fall to the floor. With it's shocking and it's scary. But if my body had been prepared to turn onto the thigh bum area rather than just catch myself with my hands, that's what I would have done. This is so clever, and it makes so much sense to me now that I've heard people saying it. I'm like, that actually makes so much sense, because when you think you've taught yourself to catch yourself with your hands as a child. When you fall over, if you're running and you fall, you put your hands out to catch yourself, because people always say, catch yourself, don't let your face hit the floor and lose your teeth. And oh my God, losing teeth is my biggest fear. The thought of falling over and losing teeth is so scary. I saw someone the other day lost their tooth, or the front of like half of their tooth, and I was just, oh, I hate the thought of it so much. Yeah, as a child we're taught, catch yourself with your hands, you won't lose your teeth. As a roller skater, we obviously still have that ingrained in us from children, but really we need to reteach ourselves that when we have knee pads on, we can fall onto them, and when we don't have knee pads on, we can fall onto our bum. These are things that make so much sense when you break them down to, as a child, you learn to catch yourself with your hands. As a roller skater, you need to relearn to catch yourself with your knee pads if you've got them on, and if you don't have them on, you need to teach yourself to, when you begin to wobble, put your weight forward, get low quickly, and try to fall to the side onto that thigh area, bum thigh area, so that we don't have serious injuries. These are what I am going to drill into myself today. Falling over safely, so important, so important, seriously, because you don't want to injure yourself. And obviously with using your hands, you do want to still use your hands to protect your face and teeth. Let's not forget. Obviously we do still desperately want to protect our face and teeth. So in conclusion, when it comes to falling, my top tips personally, and what I have taken from professionals, is make sure you get low if you feel like you're going to fall. So if you feel yourself wobbling, get low, get as low down, you're closer to the floor. Try to make sure that your weight is forward if you feel like you're going to fall, so that you are more likely to fall forward than backwards. If you fall forward and you have knee pads on, land on your knee pads. If you fall forward and you don't have knee pads on, try to shift your weight to the side so that you land on that cushion area on your thigh, bum, in between the thigh and the bum. If you can't do that, obviously get low and try to catch yourself with your hands if you have wrist pads on. If you don't have wrist pads on, then just fall and hope for the best. I don't know. So if you have wrist pads on, you can try to catch yourself. Try and make sure that you've got low so that there's not a lot of impact. Make sure you bend your elbows when you do fall so that the impact is kind of taken off a little bit from the wrist. If you feel like you're going to fall backwards, again, try to steady yourself by getting low and trying to put your weight forward. If you can't do that, and like me the other day, you're just splat, then try to teach yourself to land on that cushiony thigh bum area, safety zone. The very most important thing, do not allow your head to hit the floor. So even if you land on your bum, it's not your head. Even if you land on your wrists, it's not your head. Even if you've landed awkwardly and you've hurt yourself, it's not your head. And of course, for beginners like myself, practice on grass first, get low, practice how it feels to fall forward onto your knee pads, practice how it feels to gently fall backwards onto that cushiony area, get some muscle memory so that you land safely. I literally am about to do this now. I'm going to go outside. It's boiling hot. I am so hot. I am in a conservatory and it feels like an oven. Try that, maybe. I don't know. I'm a beginner as well. We're all beginners together. We're all just trying to learn. And I just feel like, you know, these are the types of things that are quite important, protecting yourself, especially from, obviously, like I said, the responses I've had. So I hope that this video could help even just one person, even if someone's sitting there without any safety gear and this has made them go, oh, I might get some safety gear. But overall, I hope this video has helped you. And if it hasn't, I hope you have at least enjoyed watching my falls, as I'm sure some people just came here to laugh at my falls, so that's fine as well. You enjoy. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more. And also I will link my first 30 days of progress video, so if you want to see that, it is up here somewhere. So thank you for watching. Bye.